everyone. I am pleased to welcome you all to our webinar on the Alcove 9 suite of solutions to forget what you know about data access. We are very fortunate to have our presenter, Sam Abu-Hamdan, to discuss how to tackle your most common day-to-day tasks, such as finding, reusing, and sharing your data without the weight, the complexity, or the cost of traditional data management systems or data migration. At the conclusion of the webinar, Sam will be taking questions from you. To ask a question, simply enter it into the GoToWebinar's chat window at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Before I hand you over to Sam, I'd like to allow him to tailor the webinar to our specific audience, so please indicate which software system you use to store the majority of your data in the chat window now. I see the results are in. It appears that over 50% of you are file systems users, about 10% of you are Innovia users, 15% use Revit, and the remainder of you split between Teamcenter and something else. That'll be very helpful to Sam as he addresses your unique challenges. And with that, I'd like to introduce our president, Sam Abu-Hamdan.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Thank you, Megan, very much. Megan, can you hear me very good?
I sure can.
Okay, so great. So like Megan said, we probably want to tailor this presentation in here to what you have, because our products can range from a file system type access to any PLM, PDM, or ERP type database. Knowing that most of you here on the call are probably file systems, we'll talk about that, and we'll touch a little bit on some of the PDM access that we have as well. So I'll go through a presentation first to give you the big picture of what Alcove 9 products do. Then from there we'll go into a live demo, and hopefully we'll show you a little more of what it looks like hands-on. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat window, just like Megan said, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. So you probably have heard this statement in here, or those two statements, a lot, either from your staff that is working with you or somebody that you're working with, that they spend a lot of times per day looking for files associated either with a project or with a part number or a certain database that you're working with. And most of the time that people do not find what they're looking for right away, and different people have different frustration level, I guess, but if they don't find it within a reasonable time, they end up recreating the file. Whatever that data might have been, either a drawing or a document or a spreadsheet, and if they do recreate it, then you are running into a problem of having multiple originals of the same thing in the database. Few facts about what that means to an organization. First, it's a time waste, right? Research has shown that people spend anywhere between 15 to 35% of their time searching for information. And the sad part about this is 50% of the time they don't find, or they can't find, what they're looking for. Also, what we know from research, that lost documents could cost as much as 6 times of the original value of the, or the value of the original document that was used to create it. And if anyone gets frustrated and ends up recreating that document, it tends to cost anywhere between 10 or 11, even up to 11% of the cost of that same original document. And you know, time is money, as everybody knows. Any second that you waste is it counts, you know, towards your bottom line. If you really do the math, even for small companies, let alone large companies, this example in here shows 20 employees spending 10 minutes per day looking for information. With a simple plug and chug in here, you can find out that you can see that 3.72, almost 4 months, 4 man-months a year can be spent on looking for information. And that's just 10 minutes a day. Now, a lot of people know how much time they spend looking for information. Sometimes it's hours. So where do we come in? Alcove 9, we take pride really by responding to the voice of the customer. We helped companies increase their staff efficiency 30 and 40% of their time. This particular company in here is a major medical equipment provider. We've tested our solution with these guys. They have 6,000 users, 24 million documents, drawings, and images, various different types of documents, and 6 million items and metadata in different repositories across the globe. And we managed to return search results in average 2 seconds consistently every time. Now, we were able to do that because we have indexed the data ahead of time. So indexing the data might take some time in the beginning, depending on how much data you have in different databases. But once you're done indexing, then it's a matter of seconds to find the information. So how does it work? First, it's really easy. Most of us are familiar with Google search. You type in the keyword in the search field, and within seconds, Google returns the different websites that it matches the search string. So it looks into the content. And the reason, again, Google can do it within seconds is because they indexed that data ahead of time. If you see in this particular example that we're showing on the screen, there's 715 million documents that has not documents, sorry, websites or web pages that have the word wheels in it. So regardless of location, right, data can exist in multiple information and silos across the life cycle of the product development. And it varies from customer to customer. So it could be, for example, in a requirement management system, it could be a flat file, or it could be a database. It could be a design, source, and build type database like CAD, PDM or PLM, some electronic content management or enterprise content management, or again in file system as well. Right? A lot of people have design data sitting in files all over the place. Or it could be support type data, support after the build. That's something like an MRO type thing, or a file system, or a homegrown database, whatever the case might be. So the point in here is that the data is fragmented and it exists in multiple locations. So think about the typical way of finding information. You have all these silos, I would like to call them, of data on the right-hand side. And people on the left-hand side either tapping each other on the shoulder to find information or directly accessing data into the database. But seldom you find people having access to all databases, especially the bigger the company is, the less access there is to everybody. Right? So you constantly kind of having this kind of disruption type activity going on, people trying to find the information from other people. So the Alcove 9 way of accessing data is a little different. We built that front end, the one that you see in the yellow in the middle with the Alcove 9 name on it. That's our front end user interface. It's a browser based, so it can work with anybody that has basically a browser on their computer. They log in the system, and in the background, what we have done is created application connectors that goes into the various systems or data silos that you have within your own organization, and we actually extract that data out of that system and make it available for the Alcove 9 users. so that and we index it ahead of time, so that when the user comes in to look for certain information, we can make it available for them within seconds, but regardless where it's located within the organization or which database. Because the fact of the matter is, when a user wants to find a piece of information, they do not care to a certain extent where it's located. They just want to work on that specific document. So they would remember the name of it, no, I'm sorry, maybe the content more than just the name of it or where it's located. So if they can type a couple of keywords about the content of that document, that's what we would use to help them find it very quickly. Our interface looks very simple and intuitive. Like I said earlier, it's a Google-like interface. So you can see in here very quickly that you can type in the search string on top, and that's where the keywords are entered. And on the display right below that search string, you have multiple different whatchamacallit, like buttons and formatting type features, sorry, that you can use to find your data or format your display. And once the system matches your keywords in the search string, it will show you those documents along with a thumbnail picture of what that document looks like. So not only it can provide a text in the textual type format, but in a visual type format so that it can help expedite the process of finding what you need. On the right-hand side, and you'll see it in the live demo in a second, you have some refinement tools. So if you happen to find a lot of documents that require some refinement so you don't have to look through pages and pages of data, you can zero in on what you're looking for by looking through, by selecting exactly what category you want to further filter your data. And I'll show you that again in a second, so it'll help you understand what we're talking about here. So for example, if the user types in this search string in here, AZ-PT1234, maybe it's a part number or a document number of some sort. Let's say that you're searching for that. So you type it in that search field, and within a second, the system returns for you the different documents that it matches that search string. So it could be a drawing that you see in here up on top, and it happens to be the file, that particular string that you typed in happens to be the file name itself. It could be part of the name, like you see in the Microsoft Word document that follows, or a PDF, or it could be like a PowerPoint. But notice that this sales.ppt PowerPoint is not, that particular search string is not in that file name. So it found that search string right inside that document. So that's why it found a match in here. Same thing with that last file in the JPEG. So it also, and as you notice in here, it can find duplicates for you. So if you happen to have duplicates inside your database, notice that the first one and the one before last, they both have the same name. They might exist in different folders or under different objects. So it helps find duplicates for you or redundancy in your data so that you can eliminate that if you have to. So with that, what I'd like to do in here is switch over to a live demo and let you see what the product looks like. As I said, this is a browser-based system. So what you see in here is Firefox. That's what I'm using on this computer. But our solution works in the 4 major web browsers out there, which are Firefox, Internet Explorer, Chrome from Google, as well as Safari from Apple. So if your data happens to be, or your users happen to be even mobile, and you are deploying maybe a tablet, iPad, or different tablets on your shop floor, or wherever your clients are or users are, and if they happen to have a browser installed, which all tablets do nowadays, so you can actually log into your alcove 9 instance on that server and search any database that you have. So we have also mobile type capabilities by virtue of having a browser on your mobile device. And the first thing we require is a login. Now that login can be configured through a single sign-on, so that you do not really have to log in like I'm doing in here on my screen. But rather, if it's a Windows type authentication that you have within your company, we can actually tie that into your Active Directory, and people don't have to log in. They just have a link to that local host and the alcove 9 instance, and right away they can just log in and get into the system so that you can be searching right away. So with this login in here, I'm into my database. This is a demo database that we have within our software or within our company in here. So as you can see on top in here, it shows you kind of like the total number of documents that exist right now in the database. Up here, this is where you enter your search criteria. So for example, if I wanted to search for the word power, I type that in and hit enter, or hit search, sorry. And within seconds now, my 750 documents have been reduced to 111, right? And the 111 number that you see up here is the number of documents that the system have returned that has the word power in it. Now that word power could exist in the file name like it does in here in the first few files. Notice that this file is a PDF, this one is a document, this one is an XLS, this one is a picture, right? It can do a match, for example, on this file in here, which is a PowerPoint presentation, and it found the power word right in the summary, right? It could also find it in the text within the document. This is another PowerPoint, and the word power was found in here, success power speaking. And that's part of the text of this particular presentation. It can also find other words that has power in them. If I scroll down in here to maybe this example, it's highlighting a word that says powerful or powered. So it can find any of those documents for you. It doesn't matter what the particular text, as long as it's, even if it's partial text, is really my point in here, that we could still find it for you. If you, we provide also Boolean type searches. So if you want to, if the 111 documents are too many documents to look through, you can narrow down your search by adding some other Boolean type or other words, so that if both of them, like in this case, I want to find all the word power in California, right? So if those two words exist in a document, we'll find them as well for you as well. So this is a particular PDF in here that we found it also inside that document. Same thing with the other documents in here. It highlights. It doesn't highlight all the text, but it highlights part of the text, at least where one of the words are found. But in essence, you can see in here that the documents have been reduced from 111 now down to 12 documents. So you can easily search through those either by looking at the text or by looking at the pictures in here that it's providing for you. If that's not enough, you can also refine your search further by going into a date type refinement. So I could go in and say, okay, that particular document that I'm looking for was created maybe in 2011. in this case, the number into parentheses is showing you how many documents you have, and you can all click on it, and now you know it's only this particular document that that exists in the database, and you can quickly find it that way. If it's not a date, maybe it's a file type that you're looking for, you could just do that as well. So you know it's maybe a PDF, or you know it's a PowerPoint. Again, these are tools that can help you refine the search and find what you need very quickly. Some other features that we have in here, you can change the display of the screen. So if you don't want to show a whole lot of text and you're looking for pictures, you can do that by switching to this gallery type view. This particular view is good when you're looking for maybe pictures or maybe CAD type drawings. So maybe I'm looking at different CATIA parts in here. I could quickly look at and see what the picture looks like without having to scroll up and down the screen. So it different features that we provide the users with that they could look at. You could look at, we have a slider type refinement. If you want to look for a certain date range, we could help you do that also with this. For example, if you're looking not for a particular year but ranges of years, you can say I want to look for all documents of between 2008 and 2012, and you can reduce it that way as well. And that helps your visual search or your textual search, whatever the case might be. With that, I want to switch over in here to one more thing before I go over to the CAD side of things. I want to talk about these buttons in here that you have right next to the document. So once you find the document, you can actually look at the virtual, what we call a virtual card of that particular document. So the virtual card will show you attributes. It can show you related data if there is any. If this is like a CAD assembly, it'll show you what it's composed of or where it's being used. Let me bring an example of those. There's this CAD product in here, and a CAD product is basically assembly in the CATIA world. And if you look at that particular assembly, it tells you it's composed of and gives you the different part numbers in here. So you can quickly find out what that particular assembly is made of without having to go into the PDM system and look at the bill of material that makes that particular assembly. So we expose those relationships while we're indexing the CAD data. And from here you can click at any of those and you can actually look at that subcomponent. It gives you the part name. It gives you what the picture looks like. You can download it from here into, if you have access to a CATIA seat in this particular example, you can hit this download button and it will download that part right in the CATIA session, and you can work on it right from there. If you do not want to load the part inside CATIA, but you just want to view it, so we can help companies in here, especially on the viewing side, by clicking on the thumbnail in here or the preview button. We can help them bring up the particular design inside a viewer, a separate viewer, without having to tie up a CAD license. That way the user can manipulate it, look at it from a different angle. You know, this is a 3D part in here that I'm looking at live. I can invoke the assembly browser in here. The assembly knows exactly what components make up that particular part. I can show or hide certain parts of that assembly, whatever the case might be, so that you can do your job as a downstream customer of engineering without having to tie up a CAD license. I can, for example, throw some dimensions even on that part if I wanted to. It has an interactive dimensioning type package that can go ahead and do some measurements for you. Like if I wanted to measure this length in here, I can throw in a dimension on it very quickly. I can find distance, for example, between this surface and this surface right here. It throws a dimension in here. I can measure radius. If I find or zoom in on a certain radius in here, it does those dimensions as well. So different kind of things like that it can provide for you. Yeah, I can find also measurements on like distance between holes or centers. Let me see if I can pick up this hole in here. This is a radius of 0.94, but I could also pick up the 2 radii in here, and it says, do you want center to center, tangent to tangent, center to tangent? So you can pick either one depending on what you like to have. If I want just center to center, I can just click this, say, okay, there's a dimension here of center to center of 1 inch. Okay? So different things like that, as well as markup. You can do a text markup, draw circle markups or rectangle markups in here, whatever you would like to do in order to conduct a true engineering design review type session, or just a general markup down on the shop floor. And you can certainly save this by going in here and doing a save as. You can have multiple formats to save your part. So if you want, you can go ahead and save it as a PDF or as a picture JPEG, and once you save it in the database, you can print it, email it, or send it to somebody so that they can see what you marked up and what you have dimensioned. In addition to that, one other thing that I'd like to mention before I leave the CAD area is that you can actually, once you find what you're looking for in here, or maybe the components of your assembly, you can actually take that data and display it over here and export it using this Excel export button that we have in here. You can export those results too if you want to create some kind of a documented record of what you found. So you can share that with any other colleagues within your organization for collaboration purposes, or you can just go ahead and use it as a record for you to find your data or different components of your data. You can save searches. So if I did a certain search that I go to all the time, I can create that search. In here, for example, I could say, the previous search that I found, which is the power and California, for example, rather than type this in here all the time as a search criteria, is once you found it once, you can just hit the save button in here, give it a certain name. Now, like let's say, for example, my power search, right? And once you hit the save button, it will go ahead and save your search in there for you. So the next time, let me reset the search in here. So the next time I want to do that same search, all I need to do is just in the pull-down menu, pick that search, and right away I go down to Power and California with 12 searches. You can also take that search and check that button in here, which is called Display, right? And if you do that and make your search displayable, it creates another tab in here for you to allow you can create as many tabs as you want, and these particular tabs become your saved searches, so that if somebody is used to doing this search all the time, or that search defines the components that this particular person is working on a daily basis, they can use those tabs to reach that search. So what we have displayed so far or demoed is what we call our web search. So in our web search, you can go in and within this panel, or within this interface, it gives you access to all the databases that you have. But for some organizations where, for example, AutoCAD is the only tool that they use, and they're not interested in finding data anywhere, or they don't have maybe data anywhere outside the AutoCAD environment. So what we have done for some applications in here, like AutoCAD, we have inserted our search as a separate menu, as you can see in here, within that application. So what the user has to do is, once they click on Alcove 9, it shows them this button in here, interface. They have to log in again, or not again, but they have to log in at least once into the application to get authenticated. And once the user does that, they have access to all these other options. They have the same preferences like we did on the previous web interface, but they also have this search window that pops up, and it works exactly the same way like it did in the web interface. The only difference in here is that we provided users, because this is embedded in AutoCAD, we provided users with this AutoCAD only button. So user can go in and type in, for example, lighting, right, or light. And once they hit search, it'll show where that word appears in the AutoCAD drawings within this database. Well, with this particular search, this word appears in the, it looks like in the file name in here, that drawing, and it doesn't appear in the file name in here in the second drawing, so maybe it's actually part of the text inside the drawing. So that's one thing that we add value to our users, is that we provide a textual type search even if it's on top of drawings, 2D or 3D. In this AutoCAD case, it is 2D, but in the previous viewer that I showed you, we export also the 3D data that we come across. If some of you are familiar with the term MBD, model-based definition, where we put, where the user might put some 3D type data in the textual type format, maybe GD&T type data inside the drawing, we export that also out of the 3D model, and we index it so that we can help users search for it. It could be notes also that they put in the 3D space. We export that textual notes, and we help people find and locate drawings by that textual data. Once you find in here the data, let's say for example this plumbing, 8th floor plumbing, you can click on it, and once you click on it, again we show the user, just like we did with the web interface, we show a thumbnail of what that particular design looks like, plus different attribute data that we can mine out of the title block or out of the attributes on the file. If it's checked into some kind of PDM system, we export that data and display it in this interface so that it can help the user find exactly what they're looking for without even having to open the file, just with thumbnail and some attribute data. This attribute data can be configured to match whatever you have in your system. So maybe you don't have a sheet number and it's checked by and designed by. Maybe you have some other data for length or height or part number or things of that sort. So we can tailor this. The user can easily tailor this to show them what they're looking for and what they need to display. That data in here is all searchable also. So if I want to search on the different design data, different data or drawings that this designer maybe has created, you can click on their name in here, and it finds whatever MSV has created in the system. And you can see that there are more drawings that have been created by this user. If this is the data that you're looking for, all you have to do is open it in AutoCAD, or you can also insert it. For those of you that are AutoCAD users out there, there's a concept called XREF, which is builds a cross-reference between multiple drawings. You can attach it as an XREF, you can insert it as a block, kind of like a template type thing, or you can check the virtual product card or profile card of this particular file or data, which is the same as what I showed you before on the web. It shows you the attributes, it shows you related data. If there's any related data to this particular drawing, if it happens to be an assembly and it has anything built inside that particular drawing, it shows you what it's composed of, and it shows you where it's being used. This particular one is being used on the H4 drawing, so you could see that as well. So the idea in here is that we packed enough data, or we extracted enough data and indexed it, and we make it available for you so you can see it without even having to open the drawing and manipulate all the different aspects of it in order to find that data. Well, another feature that we have built in here inside the AutoCAD drawing, let me go ahead and open this particular drawing. This is a 2D drawing of, I believe this is the lighting drawing, the A4 lighting drawing. So it shows the floor plan plus all the text that textual type information that they put on the drawing in here. You can actually go in with our tool in here, and you don't even have to type a certain drawing, a certain text that you want to search on. You can simply select it in here like what I'm trying to do. Once the text is selected, if you hit the right mouse button on that text that you selected, you'll see that we have an option that we inserted inside our interface in here with AutoCAD that allows you to take that text that you selected, click that button that says Search Selected in Alcove 9, and once you do that, it substitutes that text right into the query field in here, or the search string, and executes a search on it automatically. So that, again, another way of trying to expedite your search efforts and help you find what you need to look for very quickly. So a practical example of this is maybe a note or a certain type text that you find or you have put in multiple drawings. So what you could do is, while you're inside the CAD drawing, you can highlight that text, hit the right mouse button, and search selected in Alcove 9, and very quickly you can get this list of the different drawings in the database that matches that text, and that can be just simply a note or a call out on your drawing. That's the AutoCAD interface that we have. We also, next week on May 1st, we are launching a new product that we will make available to our user community inside the ARIS Innovator. ARIS Innovator, as some of you might know, is the open source PLM solution that has been available on the market for the last 4 or 5 years. And we decided that a lot of users within the ARIS PLM system can utilize a lot of the search criteria that that we have. So this is another embedded solution. We can use this as embedded, or as part of our web UI. This is a YouTube video that you can find on our website. The ERIS solution out of the box comes with two search criteria. One is called simple, is what you're looking at right now, and there's one that's called advanced. So in the simple search, what ERIS allows you to do is search a predefined set of attributes. This particular one in here is within the part object. And there's a part number, revision, or BOM, or generation, or name. So in this particular example that's highlighted, the user has to know where the word wheel is, under which attribute, before you can search the database. So you can see that there is a disadvantage in here of knowing ahead of time where that particular word exists before you start searching on it. But again, that's a simple search out of the box in ERIS. The advanced search is similar to the same search, but it gives you a broader abilities of searching on whatever attribute, not necessarily a predefined set like the simple does. So in both cases, it's limited because it wants you to know, or it requires you to know ahead of time what attribute you're searching for. So what we did in here is what you see on the screen right now is what we call the A9 search, is an additional one that we have provided for ERIS users as an embedded solution. And what the biggest difference between our solution and the built-in solution is that we allow you to find anything you want within the, not just the attributes, but if there are any files attached to that object, we search inside of that file for any search string that you're looking for. This particular example that's shown on the screen is showing the word trolley. The user typed it in, hit the search button, and they found two particular items in the database in here under the part object that is that matches the word trolley, or found the word trolley in it. You can see right above the search there are multiple attributes there with square boxes next to them. Those kind of highlight the main attributes, and that's completely configurable. Right? In this particular example, we have revision, you have generation, you have type, and what have you. But that could be configured to whatever you want to use as a user. And those boxes right in the parentheses right next to them show the numbers of the matches that you have to your search string. Not only that, if you highlight a part in there, it shows you also a thumbnail on the left-hand side, and it does the same thing like the web interface did. What you see on the screen now is doing basically the same thing with a A9 search in the document object in this case, right? The boxes on top right above the search table, they're a little different for the documents, so we show, but in essence we show the same thing, which is the number of documents that match the search criteria that you put in. On top of the A9 search, we also have provided what's highlighted down there on the bottom left is what we call the A9 global search. And the global search doesn't care what type of object you're in. So it doesn't have to be a part object or a document object, but the A9 global search searches across all objects within your database, so you do not have to be limited specifically to one or the other. And it goes even across items, ECOs, ECRs, whatever the case might be. So that's kind of like what we have done for ERIS. What we're going to show you in here next is a actual live demo of the product. Here you're looking at the an installed copy on one of our computers. The user in here is going in, typing in the word wheel. Again, that's a simple search out of the box within Eris. Notice where the user in here typed the word wheel is under the name, so it required you to find or to know exactly where that word exists. Now the user is using the A9 search, typing in the word wheel. It doesn't matter which attribute it is. It's going to bring back all data that has the word wheel in it under any attribute. In the boxes in there, which can be used as a filtering mechanism if you want, you can click any of or check any of the boxes, and it will filter the data down to that attribute value. You know, in this particular case, he checked the word component under type attribute. Document search works exactly the same way. You can just under the simple search, of course. But if you pick the A9 search and type in that same word wheel, you will see that you have a different display, and it allows you to filter your data on the different types of attribute, but the different attribute values, so it can quickly provide a access to the document you're looking for. But once you find it, you can click on it, like this particular example is clicking on the document and opening the file that's associated with that document. It's trying to show you where the word wheel appeared in that document to show you that we go beyond just searching for attributes. So it finds document that the word wheel appeared in it. The display in here is not that good. It's kind of fuzzy for that document, but that it's highlighting down in the top center of that document where the word wheel appears in there. As I said, this particular product is going to be released next week, May 1st, and we'll have some more of these videos available, as well as a demonstration of the product very soon. Going back to my presentation, the only thing that I have in there for you left is talking about the different components that we have and support. We provide support for different Innovia and Siemens type products, as well as Eris that I showed you in AutoCAD. We have also some support for databases that are made by IBM, like Lotus Notes, some from Microsoft, like SharePoint, and we are working on some additional ones for SAP and LiveLink from OpenText as well. The support model that we offer our product in a subscription type format. So the user has can pick between a gold membership or a platinum membership. The gold membership contains training, maintenance and bug fixes, access to a frequently asked questions, phone support, help desk, community board access, as well as online chat. All of that is within the gold membership. In the platinum membership, it's in essence exactly the same as the gold membership. The only difference between the gold and the platinum is the additional services associated with software upgrades. So, for example, if you have upgraded the software that's connected to our software, maybe it's a PLM, PDM, or a SharePoint type software, and now you have to index that, and maybe the manufacturer of that software or the vendor have made some changes to the code, we would help you with any services associated with that upgrade to get you up and running back again with the new upgrades. So this is how we offer our software. And at this point, I want to thank you for your time and participation, and I want to open it up for questions that you might have. I'll be more than happy to answer. So Megan, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Okay, well actually Brian has had this question for a couple minutes. He wants to know, does it only work on Windows servers?
The search solution and the indexing mechanism works on a Windows server, but the clients can be connected. The clients can be anything as long as they're connected to the server, and they can. They have a browser that can open a web page that's connected to that server. Then they can be any type of client.
All right. And Candace would like to know, how do I get started?
Well, you can get started in any one of the different ways. We can you can download our software. There is a starter version of the software that's available on our website that you can go ahead and download it and start working with it. You could contact us to get involved with you right away from the beginning so that we can help you set it up. Our software is offered on a subscription type basis, so there is no kind of like a huge upfront fee than maintenance type charges every year. It's just all subscription and basically services, right?
Okay, very good. Julie would like to know, can your tool help me find duplications in my database?
Absolutely. I mean, this is one of the things that we have offered early on with our software. Although it wasn't intended really to be a cleanup tool per se, but this is what you get once you index all the data that you have. So it finds duplicates, it finds misspellings. You can take the data and create a report from it or a dashboard of sort, and the dashboard or the report can help you identify where duplications are and go and take care of them that way. Some of our customers also found it as a helpful tool when you have legacy data and you are going through migration. So that ended up being a good tool for them to identify where the duplicates are, what do I need to migrate versus what can I keep where it's at or delete if it's a true duplicate type data.
Okay, great. Barb is asking, does it require client installation?
The answer is no, because it's really a browser based. So if there is if the browser is installed, all that you have to do is point it to the local page or local instance of Alcove 9, and from there you will be able to launch your product. Even the viewer right now, we're working on the CAD viewer. That is, we're working on a version which is a Java type client, so that it doesn't require any kind of client to install, and you can fire up the viewer right within the browser.
Okay. And Rob is asking, how do you handle security within your software?
Good question. We do not require the users to add another layer of security within Alcove 9 products. We inherit whatever security model that has been established in the databases that we access. So, for example, if somebody is pointing our search engine to a PLM system like Innovia or Teamcenter, we inherit the the security access control lists and rights from the PLM system, and we apply it on top of the data that we index. So if somebody does not have access to that file or that particular data, they won't even see it when they do their search. If it's not, if a data system or database is not being used and all what the client has are flat files or network type files, then in that case we inherit the Windows security system that they have, that the customer had implemented on their flat files, and we use that to show our data according to that access control list.
I see. Well, thank you, Sam, and that concludes all of our questions. So I'd like to thank you for presenting and wish everyone a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.